rescue. You want to press people, you're noble. Show me the meaning of rescue. To save somebody, the meaning of rescue.
Yeah. To deliver you from something, take you from something.
So you're a poor people. Rescue me, save. But we the old people. Rescue, the meaning of rescue. That can't help me while here.
That's the same thing.
But Jota Bagara can't tell you the water. He can't pour on making the water back to care on money. You know they get people the pressure. Husband not working. I live in church TV. I even made 1,000 a lot. I even made 400 a lot profit. Let me come and go. Children waiting for me. You are Jota Bagara. Where will be our result next year? We wouldn't even 1 year. Where will be our result the following year?
Okay. Thank you so much. What's your name? What's your name?
I'm in a station, man.
Patience, man. You sign the market here?
Yes.
I'm in the
Yes. No market. I'm just son. I go look for Yancy son.
You go look for the market, you see so?
Yancy food, call it food price. The way up, you not understand ourselves. When you go to there, you buy another price. When you come, you buy a different price. So the money I can put it back on my.
Also, the money you carry to the cold storage.
They put it back on market. Very rich.
How much for the fish?
You buy snapper 14,000. What is to buy 10,000, 8,000. Buy the 14,000. One cartoon snapper 14,000. So we beg the government. We ask y'all to help us to beg our government. We say you keep to rescue us. When they rescue that you doing that, we're not understanding it. And when they pull the police on the street, our boyfriend here, they're not giving nothing to us again. They say they can't rescue us. Why they cause a motor burner running? They want not doing they want. They are breaking the government. We the poor people, they must find place for us that we want be able to scare our clothes. They got poor people, they got rich people in the town. Some of us, we not got more from the South God. And that basically we do, we not understand our children went to school. Our children, when we can't sell the market, we can't make a damn. They say rescue, but we're not understanding the rescue team. So they were taking them from all of the street for smoking, for drugs and things. But I think you see them now. All of them turn to Zoom. They can stay in the freeze.
So the drugs are to you?
Rampant now, it made a rampant.
Okay.
The drugs is rampant. Some of them almost 20% on the street because of Zoom.
The zombie drugs?
Yeah, the Zoom that they bring in Jota Bagara to drink. Because we are trying to sell our push. But now Zoom, when he said I see that you are so sticking at it. So we asking him to please, we the parent about boys children. We ask him to please help us to make our children to leave Zoom. Because he said he came to change things. And no change, we not understand our land. Police people getting our keke motor back, hard time. Police people beating our children on the street. They say they should raise that, they should become over there, walk over that, everything they do. But what police people home killing? That just one thing we just getting dropping like that. Tell him, don't turn the napa, tell him sorry. We're not taking somebody like for the country. So you should tell our president to help we the poor people.
Selling money, how's the business?
We get God a great for
You don't let you tell what take you for. But money ain't in the country now. In process.
For now, if I have to tell you that before we're all there, all that.
Famous "Enough is Enough" protest appears to be steaming up, while the president and his team appears to be relaxed and living in luxuries. Some Liberians said that's exactly why they're coming out on July 17th. Thousands of Liberians are threatening to take to the streets of Monrovia, all dressed in white, shouting, "Enough is enough!" They will not just be protesting for the sake of it. They are demanding real accountability from their leaders and justice for Liberians. At the center of the storm is a political crisis that's gripping the country. Lawmakers were fighting over who should be Speaker of the House. Accusations were flying, corruption multiplying, and the people left in desperation from rescue to excuse, and now it's you too. Yes, we did it too is the government new slogan. It's not just a political drama. This deadlock has brought government business to a halt. More hunger and increased prices, including the exchange rate, and the people are paying the price. Things are getting uglier. Enough is enough, they say. The suspicious fire at the parliament, private jets, and disregard for the rule of law must stop. Through all this chaos, ordinary Liberians are standing up. People like Titus Pakala, Councillor Isaac Jackson, journalist Alex Beelded, Mulba Morlu, and citizens from every corner of Monrovia and the world are speaking out. They're saying, respect the Constitution, follow due process, and stop using power for personal gain. Why does this matter? Because if the rule of law breaks down, none of us are safe. When leaders fight over power and forget the people, trust disappears, and so does hope. So they're asking you, what kind of Liberia do you want? One where justice is for sale, or one where everyone is equal before the law? The people are demanding answers, and they may not stop until they get them. President Boakai can continue to ignore them and fly his private jets or drive his Lexus, but July 17th will be their day to say, enough is enough. Keep following the international media room and across Africa for more update. The famous Enough is Enough protest appears to be steaming up. While the president and his team appears to be relaxed and living in luxuries, some Liberians said that's exactly why they're coming out on July 17th. Thousands of Liberians are threatening to take to the streets of Monrovia, all dressed in white, shouting, "Enough is enough!" They will not just be protesting for the sake of it. They are demanding real accountability from their leaders and justice for Liberians. At the center of the storm is a political crisis that's gripping the country. Lawmakers were fighting over who should be Speaker of the House. Accusations were flying, corruption multiplying, and the people left in desperation from rescue to excuse, and now it's you too. Yes, we did it too is the government new slogan. It's not just a political drama. This deadlock has brought government business to a halt. More hunger and increased prices, including the exchange rate, and the people are paying the price. Things are getting uglier. Enough is enough, they say. The suspicious fire at the parliament, private jets, and disregard for the rule of law must stop. Through all this chaos, ordinary Liberians are standing up. People like Titus Pakala, Councillor Isaac Jackson, journalist Alex Beelded, Mulba Morlu, and citizens from every corner of Monrovia and the world are speaking out. They're saying, respect the Constitution, follow due process, and stop using power for personal gain. Why does this matter? Because if the rule of law breaks down, none of us are safe. When leaders fight over power and forget the people, trust disappears, and so does hope. So they're asking you, what kind of Liberia do you want? One where justice is for sale, or one where everyone is equal before the law? The people are demanding answers, and they may not stop until they get them. President Boakai can continue to ignore them and fly his private jets or drive his Lexus, but July 17th will be their day to say, enough is enough. Keep following the international media room and across Africa for more update.
Right here at TAS Electronics, located on the airfield, right at the airport junction. Here you get quality electronics product from range of charger. I mean, you can name it. But let's go. Let me show you what we get here today. Welcome to TAS Electronics. Here you get durable and affordable electronics product. I mean durable and affordable electronic products. Now, I tell you, what you see here, you can find in other electronic stores. All right, these are high quality electronics products we have right here at TAS Electronics. Remember, the location is at the LF, right at the airport junction. All right, there's a car wash right adjacent the car wash. That's why you have TAS Electronics. Now, this is a portable pressing iron. This is just 12 volt, not at the regular pressing iron that takes 220 to 110 current. It's just 12 volts, so it burns less current and it's very convenient to use. And you can just use it, and touch yourself real quick with it. So you can find it right here at TAS Electronics. I'll leave the number down in the screen that you can call. And also for the content creators, there's a very high quality content creation light that you can use, while you doing your vlogging, while you doing your video and other stuff. You can get it right here at TAS Electronics. And not forgetting the car owner there, the motorbike owner there. All right, the one here is a electronic pump. You can use it to pump your car tire on the go. Your car tire get flat, you go to a legal area, you know what I mean? And you want to do your thing there. You can just take it from in your boot, you just connect it, automatically it start pumping your car tire. You can get right here at TAS Electronics. And also fast charger. Let me show you. Let me show you this one again. This one is also a pump.
Famous "Enough is Enough" protest appears to be steaming up, while the president and his team appears to be relaxed and living in luxuries. Some Liberians said that's exactly why they're coming out on July 17th. Thousands of Liberians are threatening to take to the streets of Monrovia, all dressed in white, shouting, "Enough is enough!" They will not just be protesting for the sake of it. They are demanding real accountability from their leaders and justice for Liberians. At the center of the storm is a political crisis that's gripping the country. Lawmakers were fighting over who should be Speaker of the House. Accusations were flying, corruption multiplying, and the people left in desperation from rescue to excuse, and now it's you too. Yes, we did it too is the government news slogan. It's not just a political drama. This deadlock has brought government business to a halt. More hunger and increased prices, including the exchange rate, and the people are paying the price. Things are getting uglier. Enough is enough, they say. The suspicious fire at the parliament, private jets, and disregard for the rule of law must stop. Through all this chaos, ordinary Liberians are standing up. People like Titus Pakala, Councillor Isaac Jackson, journalist Alex Beelded, Mulba Morlu, and citizens from every corner of Monrovia and the world are speaking out. They're saying, respect the Constitution, follow due process, and stop using power for personal gain. Why does this matter? Because if the rule of law breaks down, none of us are safe. When leaders fight over power and forget the people, trust disappears, and so does hope. So they're asking you, what kind of Liberia do you want? One where justice is for sale, or one where everyone is equal before the law? The people are demanding answers, and they may not stop until they get them. President Boakai can continue to ignore them and fly his private jets or drive his Lexus. But July 17th will be their day to say, enough is enough. Keep following the International Media Room and across Africa for more update.
All right, so we want to use this time to extend our thanks and appreciation to all of you, and to also welcome you under the Palava Hut as usual. We ask you to do us a favor, and that favor we require of you is to kindly hit for us the share button, share with friends, share with family members, and let them know that we are here. We are here to provide you information that are relevant. We are here to give you the truth. We are here to inform you about what is currently happening in Liberia. So again, we want to say hit for us the share button, share with friends, share with family members, and let all of them know that we are here. There is a quote from one of the presidents of Liberia, the past president, of the United States. He said, in this crisis, or in this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. And that former president of the United States is Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. You can go and read about it. You can go and read about, the genesis of that particular quote, which I'm not going to go there because I'm discussing what I'm discussing today. But the quote becomes very important to our today's discussion. That in this current and the present crisis, in this present calamity, in this present poverty striking environment, in this current crime infested, neighborhood in Liberia, where jungle justice is seen as the order of the day, in this present crisis, where the government of Liberia will be disrespecting the rule of law, where an old man who is living on battery will think that Liberia is his personal property and he must use the presidency to bully other people. In this current crisis, where you have a president who is not focused on solving problems, building bridges, bringing people together, going across the aisle to make sure that he can cement those damaged relationships in this present crisis where Liberians cannot even afford to eat a one meal a day, only because government have imposed taxes that are very unreasonable on the lives of ordinary people. In this current crisis, when construction companies are treating our brothers and sisters like slaves, and the president will go there and say he is satisfied, he is pleased, he is okay. In this present crisis, when communities are terrorized by armed robbers, criminals, and gangs, in this current crisis, when government officials are taking home almost $18,000 a month for salary, scratch card, gas slip, and etc., and the ordinary people cannot even afford to buy a cup of rice in this current crisis, when the cup of rice in Liberia is in fact going up. It's not even that $105 for cup of rice going up. So don't tell me say that they play going up. In this current and present crisis, where inflation has taken over and it almost like our money is of no value, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. Ronald Reagan, his quotation. On this note, fellow Liberians, we encourage you to hit the button to invite someone. Let's have a wonderful, whether it be a 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever the hour is. Let's have a wonderful time. I want to welcome my own brother, Sila Lansana Kane. You are highly welcome, watching us there from Broadview City. I appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly for your presence here. It's always a privilege for us to have you here. Liberia is on the verge of a total collapse. I am very careful with my words, and there is a reason why I am saying this. Collapse, total. Liberia is at the verge of total collapse. I add the adjective to describe the collapse. Total collapse. So it is an indication that indeed Liberia has collapsed in other areas. And what is going on now is total collapse. It's like, take for an example, you have a house, right? In that identical house, you have one side of the wall that because of erosion or whatever it is, that side of the wall collapse. That is what we call a partial collapse. But the partial collapse can undermine the entire existence of the structure. There are certain portions of the house, when that portion collapses, it's an indication that the house is unsafe. That the house is unsafe. You know, I remember those days, right? Growing up back in Liberia, sometimes you will see a house that will, sorry. Sometimes you will see, a house that will have a partial collapse. And people will be brave enough because of the poverty or the situation or circumstances, they will take stake and put it on the wall as a defense to push back the force of the war. But that is not a lasting situation. In fact, that is the most dangerous situation, in fact. So you will see houses, I grew up on the Bourgeois Island, Newcruton, Lockington, Jamaica Road, etc., etc. The Bourgeois Island is just my area, though I went to other parts, but the Bourgeois Island is where I grew up. So these kind of houses are very common to see. Sometimes you will see I will be burning one side. You see many post stake. So Liberia is at a total collapse. Partially, it has collapsed significantly. That is undermining this particular nation that is heading towards total collapse. When the foundation of any house is broken or experience a crack, then it's a serious problem. Now, what is the foundation of every nation? What makes a nation stronger? What makes a nation guaranteed to be a nation? It is what we refer to as the rule of law. The rule of law is what makes a country to be a country. The rule of law is the reason why nobody walking on the street and just doing their own thing. The rule of law. It is the rule of law make you to call a country a country. In the absence of the rule of law, it is a problem. When the rule of law is disrespected, is spit upon, it's a problem. It's a serious problem. That is what we call a foundational crack. A foundational crack. And you see, in every country where you hear say, the person a dictator, the other person a this, you know what they go for? Anybody who is fighting to take control of the law, anybody, whether be a president or whoever that is fighting and you disrespecting the law and trying to impose his will instead of the law, that is a recipe for chaos. That's how dictators are discovered. Whether be Africa or what, they don't respect the rule of law. Their words become law and gospel. They lead by decree. They lead by decree. Because the law that is supposed to tie their hands, in other words, to not do certain things, it is that law that they want to get rid of. And it is this thing that we are seeing in this old fool called Joseph Numa Boyka. It is just what we are seeing in this fool called Joseph Numa Boyka. This old man that has no idea. This man that is a psychopath. This man that is half dead. It is what we are seeing in this man. It is under the rule of law or the rule that governing Liberia that can make me Prince Sheriff to walk on the street or any other person to walk on the street without anybody harming me. The rule of law. It was the rule of law that made people honor the regime of His Excellency President Dr. George Manneh Weah to disagree with government and did not run away. Or police did not go to their house and intimidate them. It was the rule of law that caused President Weah to peacefully say, yeah, is it? And I say, Joseph Numa Boyka win. Yeah, is it? It is that rule of law. So when that rule of law is being trampled upon, when that rule of law is being disrespected by an old man that is living without any fresh idea, then it warrants concern from you and I. That's why I took this quote today from Ronald Reagan, who say, in this present crisis, the government is not the solution. to our problem, but the government is the problem. And what do we do to solve the problem? What do we do to confront the problem? What do we do to ensure that this problem is eradicated? That's where we're going. That's where we're coming. What do we do? What do we do as a people? What do we do as a nation? Maybe sometimes some of us forget the power that we have. And it is only important that we continue to remind our people on a daily basis of the power that they have. Like yesterday, I said, in one of President Barack Obama said in one of his quotes that the change that you seek, I am just paraphrasing, that change will not come from the east, will not come from the west, will not come from the south, but that change is you. You are the change. The reason why you have Mr. Brecker behaving the way he is behaving is because we'll continue to say, we have tolerated Brecker. Stop blaming leaders that are past. President Weah was not the one that voted for Joseph Numa Brecker, and his vote multiplied and became 50 point something percent. He has one vote like every one of us. Look, Liberians, you know why leaders will continue to play fool of you? It's because when you are disrespected, you refuse to use what the law say that you are supposed to use. You refuse to use it. Let me read something here for you that will set the basis for our discussion. I know all of us know that thing by heart. All of us. I just thought to just read it. All of us know it by heart. And that thing is enshrined in the Constitution. It is what we call the Constitution. The Constitution. It is the Constitution. When you read Article 1 of the Constitution that I'm going to read, every one of us know it by heart. I just want to read it. That is the basis of our democracy, the foundation of our democracy, the strength of our democracy. That is the strength that we possess as people. Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. It states, which people can say by heart, all that thing we can say by heart, that all power is inherent in the what? In the people. Even if you not read all the other one, but that one alone, Article 1 of the Liberia Constitution, it says all power is inherent in the people. All power. It says some power. All power is inherent in the people. All free government are instituted by their authority for their benefit, and they have the right to alter and reform the same, whether their safety and happiness so require. That's the Constitution. That's not me. I am just reading from what the Constitution is saying. All of us know this by heart. Article 1. All of us know it by heart. Even the child that is just born today will know this. You see, I pray for the day we'll go back to our Constitution and start to teach it. Service in high school. The lack of service in high school is causing a serious problem. Some of us, by the grace of God, were privileged to take service while we're in school. Especially those of us that went to school way back in the 80s, 90s. We did service. So my question to you and those who are listening to me today, are we utilizing this portion of the Constitution? We utilize the portion of the Constitution with certain people. But when it comes to this particular old idiot who have decided to trample upon the rule of law, some of you are seated comfortably. But oh, Boyka, your time is coming. Liberia is leading to a total collapse. Look at how Mr. Boyka has proceeded of recent. These are the tendency of dictators. What they want to do is to have absolute power. So in order for Boyka to possess that absolute power, what he has to do is to disrespect the very foundation of our nation. What is that foundation? The rule of law. So Mr. Boyka took over the country. The first thing that he did was to jump behind people who have positions. He jumped behind them and said, "This is for me. I will not respect what the law say." There is a reason why we have tenure positions. You know, after the war, right? We fought serious war. And there was a complete breakdown in our governance system. And we had what we call all of these peace accord, akosombo, this, that, blah, 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 stuff like that. And at the end of the day, our international partners, they came together and said one of the reasons why these people fought war was because one person felt that he had all of the powers. Whatever he says should be law and order. There is a need for people to respect the law. Whether you are in government or not, respect the rule of law. There is a need for us to have structure of government that will not be able to control the president just like that. There is a need for us to protect certain branches of government. By so doing, it helps to balance our democracy. So, taking into consideration all of these and many more, they decided that we put together a government that certain people will be protected. We will give them tenure position. They will have tenure. And when these people have tenure, it will also help to protect the resources of the people. It will also help to ensure that nobody, no one person will sit and say, "I am the law and I am the gospel. I do whatever I want to do." Just a minute. My daughter is calling me. Okay, so I'll call them back, calling from Liberia. So they decided to put together these branches or these other, one will say agencies, and say, "Look, you people will be given tenure position because you are the one that is protecting the fabric of the country, the money that is belonging to the people. We don't want for anybody as a president to yaka and yakajoyo and yahala want and everybody go under their share. So you can be protected. So let's have this particular law to protect you, give you tenure. That nobody will not just come to counter you from there. In as much as you live as per the laws, the rules, regulation governing this entity, you are there. And these institutions, they were giving those tenure positions at the international community. Joseph Newman Boyka was the first vice president and president of the Liberian Senate that enjoyed, or in fact endorsed that under his government. When Joseph Newman Boyka took over as president, the first place that he ran, because he wanted to destroy the very fabric of our nation, because he wanted to be the law and gospel, the A and the Z, he decided to run straight to that particular tenure position because he wants to show strength. He wants to show that, yeah, I am the man on the block. I'm the only dog here. And if I backs, no other person will back. What I say remains it and nothing else. And so therefore, he ran straight to turning position and start to attack. We saw what he did at LTA. A gross disrespect. We saw what he did at EPA. A gross disrespect. And etc., etc., including NASCOP and other areas. We saw what happened there. NAFA and all these other different areas. At the end of the day, the only thing that is supposed to protect you and myself, protect all of us, the rule of law, the court. People ran to the court, and the court came up with a decision. This cannot be. We have to respect the rule of law. Mr. Boyka and his gangster, they said no. We want to be a dictator. We want to make this country a banana republic. We not respect what the court is saying. We won't. These people even ran to central bank. You see, when people are trying to make themselves law and gospel, these are the tendencies. These are the things that they do. So he disrespected the court. Lied on somebody, an old man that is not even well, that is supposed to be preparing himself to go and rest well. It's lying on people. Lie on somebody from the central bank. Oh, the man did that. The man did that. The man ran to the court. Guess what happened? Called the man, said, my man, you know what? Forget about that court. Can't let her. Let me give you 300,000 for you to go sit down somewhere. In this present crisis, government is not the solution, but the government is the problem. The government is the problem. The government is the one creating the problem for the people. The government is the one that is provoking the people to take a stand. And I want to believe that gradually we are getting there. Like our brother AB will always say, we are getting there. We are getting there. So Joseph Numa Boyka disrespected the court in the first instance. Disrespected the court. So now that he tested the court and see that, oh yeah, the court here again, war over it. Guess what he did? He went to the house, disrespected the judiciary and said, yeah, okay, fine. Let me go to the house. Went to the house and decided that my will must prevail. My will must prevail. And look for one idiot by the name of Kun and say, Rachel Kun, go there. You will be the regime speaker. Disrespecting the rule of law. And guess what? Again, people ran to the court. Joseph Numa Boyka and one other stupid idiot by the name of Councillor Osford Tue sat down at the Ministry of Justice and plunged our nation into chaos. After the Supreme Court gave its ruling, Osford Tue sat down there and said, we ignore the Supreme Court. We will interpret what we want to interpret. And they plunged our nation into chaos. Look, whether be a Councillor Osford Tue or Gregory Como or whoever, remember, we know where your children are. We know where your families are. We know you. We know you. If you think you will plunge our nation into chaos and you run away, we will hunt you. No, let me repeat myself. Maybe you're getting what I'm saying. I am saying all of these people that today are pushing Liberia into civil conflict. We know you, we know your family. We know you and we know your family. You will not allow our own family to be running from one bush to another bush. Somebody will tell them, say, you can't sit down here, take all your trust, I respect you, but join on this side. Then you and your family, you'll live comfortably. It will not happen. It will not work. When our own family are running, when they eating Bobo John, your family too will eat Bobo John. Your family will eat Bobo John. This nonsense is enough. It's enough. You get stupid people who take over government and they are leading as if to say that their man or their power property. They just leading, just doing their own thing and pushing our nation. You know how many Liberians die for the peace today that we have? That stupid men like Joseph Newman Boyka and an idiot like Gregory Cuomo and one other fool called Councillor Oxford Twelve, they will just be playing around people's life like this. You know how many persons die to reach us this far? Some of us today, we don't even have a picture of family members that we love. We don't even know their graves. We don't even know where they were buried. Some of us, the people who used to care about us, love us, we did not even see their bones, talk less of their graves. Some of us are in this position because other people decided that my will prevail. My will prevail. 250 plus thousand Liberians die. This fool by the name of Boyka, this disappointment by the name of Boyka, they form Lofa Defense Force. And this stupid idiot here that is presiding over our country and calling himself president, they were the ones that sponsor the Lofa Defense Force and kill our people, destroy properties. And because Liberians are so magnanimous to their own detriment, we gave this man another opportunity. Instead of using the time to be able to mend and right the wrongs, he said no. He will use the time to suppress us. And look at where we find ourselves today. Look at where we find ourselves. So the man decided that, look, I will impose my will. I will go to the house and change it. Let it be what I want it to be. And impose one other fool on us called Richie Kuhn, who say he's a speaker. But look, let me tell you something. And y'all can take this from the Liberian people. All of what you guys are doing, y'all will pay for it. Y'all will pay for it. Read my lips. Y'all will pay for it. The generation of Liberians that we say we leave our own to God, that generation is no longer living. That generation passed. That was in 1913. The people used to say we leave our own with God. Not this generation of ours. The law will take its course. So all of you that are misbehaving, continue, misbehave. Misbehave. You will answer. You will answer questions of this misbehavior. You will answer questions. Enough is enough. You cannot lead this nation into chaos and we sit down and keep quiet. We can't. Our people are living in fear. Thugs are now taking over our communities. Robbers are taking over our communities. Before, I remember when we were coming up back in the early 80s, some of you know in the 70s, that in the night we used to hear about roll in the night. In the night. Those of us that grew up, you know, back in the days. That in the night we used to hear roll. In the night we know say roll we can't steal. Real roll. I'm talking about party roll where Jack one. But nowadays, in broad daylight, we see armed robbers now in Liberia, which never used to be. Broad daylight, people are robbing people. Our communities are no longer safe. The government who should be ensuring that the rule of law is respected, it is the government that is destroying the rule of law. It is the government that is disrespecting the rule of law. You know, like I said to you the last time, and I want to say, all of these things that are going on is calculated by Joseph Boyka. You know what Joseph Boyka wants to do? Joseph Boyka wants to plunge the nation into chaos. And at the end of the day, his nephew Fole, who is the army chief, come to take over. But out of war there, they never fought on the airfield where we live in. That stupidity where Boyka is after, we ain't reached to that place yet. We ain't reached there yet. This is what you see. Boyka is doing everything to, and look, the people will react. Bullet? What you call bullet? War? What you call war? You think you can intimidate the people? You think so? The stupidness that Boyka is people after. You think you think he can intimidate the people? Look, when the time reaches, nobody will tell the Liberian people that it is enough. And that time is now. Nobody will tell Liberian people it's enough. They will see it. They will feel it. They will not ask somebody to go join. No. Nobody will ask somebody. The people themselves will move on. They will move on. You have this old man that is a serious disappointment to his own family, to his own generation, who openly said it, that he was living on loan and squander opportunity. He coming now to use the occasion to suppress our people. Look at what is happening in Liberia. Everything is going helter-skelter. Everything is going helter-skelter. What kind of nonsense is this? Institutions that are supposed to protect the Liberian people's interests, Joseph Boyka has now subdued them to total silence. Look at what is happening. Look at what is happening in Liberia. Just quite recently, we said we're celebrating our presence on the Security Council as a non-permanent member. Look at what is going on. A nation that people once admire. You know, some of you don't know, but let me tell you this. Have you observed? Anyway, this is deep. I'm going to leave this. It's deep. It's a security issue. I'm going to leave this. But certain movement going on in Liberia, Ivory Coast, and stuff like that. Some movement or some people going on. And since that movement started, Joseph Numa Boyka has not been to himself. He feels that he is now the man on the block. I'm not going deep. I will just leave it as it is. Certain movement, we saw certain movement in Ivory Coast, in Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone. That movement start to go on. And Joseph Numa Boyka right now feels very comfortable. He feels that he's okay. He's the man on the block. He can do whatever. He has the protection of whoever or whatever. But Joseph Numa Boyka, nothing can protect you against the will of the people when you abuse that particular will. Nothing can protect. Nobody can protect you. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. You cannot plunge our own family, our kids, and everybody into chaos, and you think that you will be safe. No, you will never be safe. Never. We repeat, you will never be safe. If you think that you will come to subdue and suppress the CDC as a political institution, then get ready to face the people, and the people will rise up. And that's the reason why we are saying to all Liberians, we are saying to you that let's get ready.
Famous Enough is Enough protest appears to be steaming up. While the president and his team appears to be relaxed and living in luxuries. Some Liberians said that's exactly why they're coming out on July 17th. Thousands of Liberians are threatening to take to the streets of Monrovia, all dressed in white, shouting, "Enough is enough!" They will not just be protesting for the sake of it. They are demanding real accountability from their leaders and justice for Liberians. At the center of the storm is a political crisis that's gripping the country. Lawmakers were fighting over who should be Speaker of the House. Accusations were flying, corruption multiplying, and the people left in desperation from rescue to excuse, and now it's you too. Yes, we did it too is the government news slogan. It's not just a political drama. This deadlock has brought government business to a halt. More hunger and increased prices, including the exchange rate, and the people are paying the price. Things are getting uglier. Enough is enough, they say. The suspicious fire at the parliament, private jets, and disregard for the rule of law must stop. Through all this chaos, ordinary Liberians are standing up. People like Titus Pakala, Councillor Isaac Jackson, journalist Alex Beelded, Mulba Morlu, and citizens from every corner of Monrovia and the world are speaking out. They're saying, respect the Constitution, follow due process, and stop using power for personal gain. Why does this matter? Because if the rule of law breaks down, none of us are safe. When leaders fight over power and forget the people, trust disappears, and so does hope. So they're asking you, what kind of Liberia do you want? One where justice is for sale, or one where everyone is equal before the law? The people are demanding answers, and they may not stop until they get them. President Boakai can continue to ignore them and fly his private jets or drive his Lexus, but July 17th will be their day to say, enough is enough. Keep following the International Media Room and across Africa for more update.
So let's listen to this. Let's listen. I think the sound is not so the sound is not so we're going to see how best we can bring this to you. Let's get it right here. Just bear with us while we try to bring you the sound. Yeah, we'll bring you the sound. We'll bring you the sound and bring you this because it's important. This is important, right? So let's see. We're going to bring you this. Just bear with us. Let's do this quickly. This is very important. When we see something that is important, then we go for it. So
GST is, I think, is up to 12% now. So all this governance right, so we can focus and address on the economy. So long answer to your question, but two categories: governance, economics, and they both intersect, of course.
Let's look at Oliver. You want to come in?
I mean, so, Mr. Cummings, in the midst of all of what you are cataloging, Liberians and I would say are kind of concerned as to why you are not that vocal. They know Mr. Cummings and the ANC to be this political party that will be very critical. I mean, you were kind of critical against the last administration. They think you are a bit soft. They think you are not talking the way you're supposed to do. For them, they think you're silence, and the silence of the opposition community is giving rise to some of the things happening in the country. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm not being silent now, right? So I'm having this conversation and speaking out. But I would also argue what did all of that talking get me in the past, right? So what was the result? So we have to recalibrate. We have to rethink how we talk when we talk, right, and what we talk about. But look, I think the behavior of this government is actually is pushing the opposition to collaborate and to work together again on issue by issue. And on this issue, I'm happy to speak because I've been a victim, a personal victim of the weaponization of the judiciary. And it was actually orchestrated by my colleagues at the time in the Unity Party. So they carry on the same behavior. So this is very personal.
He said he is a victim. Thank God he is a victim. He know how Joseph Numa Boyka is crafty, corny, funny, evil old man.
Mostly on the executive branch side, but it's the behavior of this UP party that continues. And so, yes, we are engaging now, we're active now, and then on a case-by-case basis, we'll speak out to the issues that affect our country and our people.
With the way you see the country, and you mentioned about the governance of our country, and you said if a government continues to lead her people in such a way, investors won't be able to come in a country, scare away investors and all of such. Seeing lawmakers from the Capitol building being dragged the way they were dragged recently to the police onward to the Monrovia Central Prison. You, as the political leader of one of the biggest opposition political parties in the country, what have you to say concerning such? And what will you say to your supporters that are listening to you in and across the world?
Yeah, look, as I've said, Suku, it's unacceptable what is happening and how this UP-led government is handling the governance of our country. Again, they've been investigating this issue for the last, 4 months, 5 months, however long it's been since the fire, the arson. They could have, again, called these lawmakers to the police station on Friday morning, gone through whatever the process they went through, and allowed them the opportunity to go to court to either be released on after posting a bond, or just to be released on their own reconnaissance. As I said, these are lawmakers. The risk of them fleeing or flight is very low. And by the way, I understand that one of the UP lawmakers who was initially also asked to come to the station with them was released to her lawyer. Why the double standard? Why treat one person one way and somebody the other way, right? I mean, it's completely unacceptable. And again, you would think, Liberians elected President Boyka, who is our president, based on his experience, you would think the experience would come to bear. But instead, again, see behaviors that have gone back into the history of our country, where opposition or so-called opposition or perceived opposition are, trying to be embarrassed and mistreated and again weaponizing the law. Just not acceptable. And so we will speak out unapologetically about this sort of behavior because it doesn't help our country. There's no benefit for doing what they're doing. Just follow the rules, follow the rule of law. If it leads to the guilt, if you got the evidence, it leads to the guilt, so be it. But follow the process. Don't try to embarrass people and again, weaponize the laws of our country. It's unbecoming of us. We just and all applauded the fact that we won the non-permanent seat on UN Security Council. Great for the country. We all applaud that. And then to turn around and try to do this, that's like scoring an own goal. It's not helpful to the image of Liberia. I'm sorry.
Okay, you want to ask?
Yeah. Honorable Corner, it's good to have you. This is Bladin, Winston Bladin. Listening to you carefully. You spoke about the rule of law, the government trying to weaponize the judiciary or political trick. Now, I got three important questions for you, sir. Question number one: when was the last time you spoke to your friend, President Joseph Boakai? What for you, opposition, collaborating political parties? You were very, very, very on the back of the CDC government. When was the last time you spoke to Mr. President?
About some of the things he's doing.
So you say you had 3 questions. Should we just get all 3 and then I respond?
You want me to get all 3? Question number 2, sir. Do you think, having stressed the name for collaboration, do you think collaborating now can solve anything in this country? 3, do you still believe in the rule of law, sir? Honored President Joseph Boakai, your friend, one-time political ally. Thank you.
So to your first question, when the last time I spoke to President Boakai, it was actually on a flight. We were both on a flight from Accra to Monrovia. Was the last time we physically spoke. And then on Unification Day, he tried to reach me and could not. He sent me a text, which I responded to. I tried to return his call, and I couldn't reach him. So the last time we physically spoke, we were on a flight, as I mentioned, from Accra back to Monrovia, and he tried to call me on Unification Day. Didn't get me. He sent me a text. I tried to call him back. I didn't get him. I responded in the text.
So you see, Joseph Boakai, he does this thing intentionally. He just beat people. And when they try to call him back, he will not answer. You see how wicked this man is? You see how evil? This man is a crook that called Joseph Boakai. But let's listen.
Any party where on the particular issue we agree with. We learn a lot from our experience in the collaboration with CPP, and we don't plan to make those same mistakes. But I have to say, though, the behavior of this government and the actions and flouting, the rule of law will only encourage us to collaborate even more, particularly on specific issues that, again, we have common ground, we align on. And in this case, we align with other opposition parties on the treatment of the speaker and the other lawmakers. And do I believe in the rule of law? Yes, I do. Strongly. Liberia should be a country of the rule of law. I hope that when the former speaker, and his police go to court tomorrow, I hope when the judiciary get actively engaged and involved, they will do the right thing. And again, to be fair, so far it's been purely on the executive branch, with the national police behaving the way they did and the actions they took. Tomorrow now, it will go to the courts. And I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that the courts will do the right thing and will handle this per the rule of law. And so, yes, I believe in the rule of law, and I believe our country should be a country of laws, and that everybody should be treated the same based on the rule of law, and not having double standard where one representative is let go, get to go home, and the others are not. Just because the person is from the Unity Party and the others are not from the Unity Party. This is how you foster
as you've said,
and this unity in our country.
Okay. As you said that you're willing and also praying that the lawmakers will be going to the court tomorrow. Your supporters are listening to you across the country, out of the country, through different mediums tonight. How can you encourage your supporters? First of all, are you going to be part of political leaders that will be accompanying those of the people that have been placed behind bars, the lawmakers, to the court on tomorrow? Let's know that first.
Yeah, that's the plan.
You're going to be part of it. We want to be clear. You're going to be part of the people, right? Let me say the simple English.
That is the plan. So how more clear can I be? That's the plan. We plan to be there.
Okay. So tomorrow you're going to be there. Mr. Cummings, can you please speak to your supporters that are listening to you? How can you encourage them to come out in their numbers tomorrow?
So for me, this is about peaceful assembly. Let me be very clear. It's the right of Liberians to assemble as long as we do it peacefully, and I want to emphasize that, no rioting, no vandalism, I will not support, I will not tolerate, I will disassociate myself from anything that goes against the rule of law, riots, vandalism, any of those things. But beyond that, I will encourage all Liberians, including my supporters, to be there tomorrow to support the former speaker and his colleagues. In as many numbers as they can pay their way, walk, and come there. But I emphasize peaceful, follow the law, peaceful assembly. Nobody should come there and do the very thing we're speaking against. We're calling on the government to behave. We want every Liberian, not just my supporter, who shows up tomorrow to make sure they behave.
In doing so, Mr. Cummings, you know the police of our country at times to go beyond what they are to do. Why, if you people have a very strong resistance from the police, not to have you people, joining the fray to take your supporters or who you people, are supporting to the court tomorrow? What becomes of it?
Our people might, and I say our because there will not just be ANC people there. Our people should not engage in violence tomorrow. I call on the police to let people peacefully assemble and not provoke anybody. But my message to all Liberians who want to show up tomorrow is your right to do so, but do not indulge in violence. Do not try to take on the police. Do it peacefully. And again, I call on the police to let people peacefully assemble.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, so you are at the moment calling on your supporters, especially those of them who believe in the rule of law, to assemble on tomorrow. It is one thing to call on them, as the political leader. It is another thing to send that message to the structures of your party. Is the ANC mobilized for this? Do you have the mechanism in place as a political leader with your different party structures across Montserrat, since this is the concentration point? Is that happening, or are you just using the radio as the only means to call them?
So first of all, let's be practical and realistic people, and not try to be politically provocative. So these events are happening rapidly. We have various chat rooms and practices in our parties, which we communicate through, and we're communicating through those processes to our partisans. And I'm on the radio tonight having this discussion, encouraging them to come. To assume that anything beyond that is happening, I would not be telling the truth. But let's be honest about where we find ourselves and the timing of this event and the timing of the decision to actually go to the courts tomorrow. So let's just be realistic and practical and not try to be overly political in our conversations.
Okay, Honorable Cummings, once again, I'd love to say good evening to you. It's been a while now. This is Corey Kanga from Truth FM. I got two concerns. One is the rule of law. What concept and a concrete step must Liberia take as a country to build a culture of respect for the rule of law among both citizens and political leaders? That one. Another one is, how can we as a country address the gap between the law rating on paper and actual enforcement, especially regarding corruption, human rights, and the judicial fairness?
So look, to your first question, the obedience to the rule of law, or the example needs to be set by the leadership of the country, starting with the leadership that's in power. They have to obey the rule of law. They have to set the example through their behaviors and through their actions. And so far, unfortunately, this government is not doing that. But it starts there. And then it starts with the rest of us who are quote unquote leaders. And leaders in politics, leaders in business, leaders in civil society, leaders across the board in the churches, in the mosque. All the leaders should set the example and follow the rule of law. And then our people will do the same. It's not about what we say, it's about what we do. It's about our actions. And that's why I emphasize freedom of assembly tomorrow, but peacefully. On your question about, and again applies to rule of law, about corruption, etc. This is again has been an issue in our country since the founding of Liberia. This thing called corruption. And look, I've spoken out about corruption, perhaps most forcefully than anybody else in the political arena, and I will continue to speak up against the stealing or the looting that is taking place in our country. And again, that process will only change when the leadership in the executive branch, legislative branch, judiciary branch begin to set the example, and there are consequences, right? There's punishment, there's consequences for people that break any law, including stealing from the Liberian people.
Okay, let me give Abu the chance to ask his one question, then we can move ahead. Abu, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. And Honorable Kumis, it's good to have you. My name is Abu Sharif, like Siku said, and I think these are very critical moments. So basically, I have two questions to ask you. And my first question is begins with this. You know, initially when you started your expose, you indicated that we have, as a country, we have two situations on our hands. It is governance and economic issue. And I'm interested in the economic issues where there are increased prices on the local market. Liberians have been complaining, and of course, the exchange rate is skyrocketing. We just talked about the secret increment in the price of petroleum product that's going to affect transportation costs for our people. And all of these things have been the center of the conversation recently. And then what we are seeing in the breakdown in the rule of law from the governance angle, can we say the government is using these movements to cover up for the economic quagmire that has engulfed the government, and it appears very clear that there is no solution in sight. So to divert the public attention from the economic failure, then we ignite political tension to scapegoat the real issues of governance and proactive leadership in solving the problems of the people. My second question would be, you are a politician, and a lot of politicians have spoken. We saw the statement from 4 collaborating political parties in regards to these happenings. But we have here barely voices from the independent civil society organizations in the country, the spiritual organizations like the Religious Council, right? Recently, we saw the LCC confer honors on Honorable Richard Nangbe Kun. In all of this, and this is about the country. So does it bother you that the quote-unquote moral voices in the country do not see the trouble as politicians are seeing, or are politicians exaggerating what is happening? What's your thought?
Yeah, so let me start with the last question first about civil society speaking up. First of all, look, to be fair to them, again, this event is just unfolding. It just happened on Friday when the actions took place against the former speaker and his colleagues. And it's Sunday evening, so we need to give them time. They may react tomorrow. I hope some of them show up tomorrow at the courts. And beyond, they might make statements, etc. So again, let's be fair in the context of this particular event. But I do think there's an opportunity for the civil society to be more vocal, to be more engaged, to not only acknowledge and recognize when good things happen. They should do that, but similarly should call any of us, government or any of us so-called leaders, to book when we are violating the rules, violating the law, because they play a powerful role. There should be a more independent voice. Anything I say will be construed as being political, and that's fine. But they should have a neutral, independent, and therefore more commanding voice. And I will encourage civil society organizations to speak out. You mentioned the situation with the Liberia Council of Churches and recognizing Speaker Cohn. I agree with all of the outrage and the pushback against that. I think they acknowledged it was a mistake. I think they did. But whether they did or not, I support the discontent, the outrage, and the pushback against what they did. But in this particular case, let's give them time. They may react in the right way. With regards to political diversion, look, that's decision that you and political pundits and Liberian people have to make whether they're being diverted. What I do know is that the governance of our country is being challenged while the suffering of our people continue. And I've given the examples which you cited. I like the word you used, the secret increase. I think that's the right descriptor. They try to slip it and do it quietly. The increase in the price of petroleum and fuel, but also, the GST going up, et cetera, et cetera. And I was in the market in Barnesville on Saturday, on yesterday, and I can tell you, you see the struggle's real. It's not, and to try to tell people things are well when they know it's not. Again, Liberian people are not stupid. They understand and they get it. And attacking the opposition, that's fine. That's what I guess politicians do to each other. But Liberians know the country is not moving in the right direction.
Okay, AB wants to ask, then maybe we'll ask 2 more questions. Then Mr. Cummins will let you to have a rest. AB?
Yeah, and so Mr. Cummins, and great to join us. Tomorrow, you expect that your followers will join you tomorrow at the Capitol building, where they will be able to rally their support and for justice and the rule of law in our democracy, and which is very much important and laudable. But I would just like to get your take. This is not your first time. Your cries continued, and the last time we ever checked was we are in power, and yet in the opposition, you stay raise the same voices, the same cries continue with you. Are you some way, somehow disappointed that together, when you people were in the opposition, and then one person emerged from amongst you people, and that person is in Joseph Yuman Boakai, and with one voice, you people were pressuring the we as administration, that voice, do you still see that voice being re-echoed? Do you think Boakai is living up to the expectation of the opposition you were part of when we was in power?
Wonderful question. The answer is no. Look, I go back to actually my opening comment, and you mentioned my message in the almost 19 years now since I entered Liberian politics. It was 2015, 2016. Has been the same because nothing has really changed fundamentally. Sad to say. That's why I keep saying we keep doing the same thing and expect different results. I don't know what happens, by the way, and I've asked this question of some former leaders, is that when people are in opposition, when we're in opposition, we are critical, we see all the things we'll do different, and then somehow people get in power and they repeat the same things. I don't know if it's the water they drink in the mansion, then we got to change our plumbing system or something. I don't know what it is, but we keep doing the same thing and expect different results. We keep electing people with the same kinds of experiences and we expect different results. So to answer your question, disappointed. Liberians, again, we're voting for experience, but we're experiencing experience, right? And it's look, it's disappointing. We keep doing the same thing, It's like we're playing musical chairs with our country. And, musical chairs, you got 10 chairs in the middle of the room, and you got 20 people running around. The music stopped 10 people sit. And those 10 do the same thing. Then elections start again. That means the music starting. We run all run around the chair. The music starts. Some of us win with, and nothing changes. So yeah, it's very disappointing. And for the sake of the country, look, I've said this consistently, publicly from day one. Anybody who leads this country, we should wish them success. We should wish them well, because if they're successful, that means all of us are better off. And if it makes it harder to replace them, that's not a bad thing, because we're pushing the country up. I did a post a few weeks ago about starting a race to the top. Let's race to the top as opposed to racing to the bottom, where we keep doing the same things, we keep pulling each other down, that crab mentality, as opposed to supporting each other. But we also, in that process, need to call each other out when we're not doing the right things, right? And this is what my conversation with you tonight is about. It's about, let's just do the right thing. Let's just follow the law. If you got the evidence, then go to court, follow the process. If they're guilty, they're guilty. If they're not, they're not. But to try to embarrass them, that old trick. Let's take them Friday. We know the course will be closed, so we can put them in jail and embarrass them. I mean, what nonsense. Unnecessary, right? And then you let one person go because they're your partisan. So then you apply double standard to that. What are we doing? 177 will be 178 this year, right, gentlemen? Am I wrong? And shame on us. Shame on us.
Oh, we are not getting the.
No, he's there.
I'm here.
There.
So let's ask one or two more questions so we can wrap it up.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Mr. Cummings, in asking the one or two questions, I'm sure you political leaders that are going tomorrow, you people are anticipating a particular thing. What exactly you people are anticipating? Is it that the lawmakers are to be released, or if they are not released, what exactly you people going to do next?
I expect that the courts will do the right thing. That, the government will bring the charges, they will be read, whatever the legal process is. I'm not a lawyer. And then they'll ask for bail, for bond, and I assume because the risk of flight of them leaving or going anywhere is very low, the courts will let them go, and then the legal process will start. So I expect that will happen tomorrow, to be honest. I don't expect anything different to happen, but it's important that we're there so that Liberians see and the courts see that we want to see the rule of law actually run its course as it should, and I expect it will.
Okay, so who's going to ask the last question? Then we call it a day. You? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Kumi, let me just come up with the last question. It's basically about the country, the status of the welfare of the state. Looking at President Boubacar, he has spending power already, a few years ahead. Do you think that Liberia will see any change as they expected?
Look, I hope so. And it's a good question to end with. Thank you. All the questions have been good, by the way. Look, I hope so, and we should all hope so. The early indications are not good. The old Liberians saying, you will know if Christmas is good by the eve, right? So far the eve not looking good. But then maybe, at the last minute, could be surprised. Something could happen. So I say we should hope so. We should hope that things will get better, that the government, President Boubacar, really start to pay attention to managing the economy, so reduce the economic pressure on our country and people. So my answer to your question is I hope it gets better. Again, early indications are not good. Too many own goals are being scored, including what happened on Friday. But let's hope for the best. It's not in our interest for President Boubacar to not be successful. That means we're wishing our people to keep suffering. And I would never subscribe to that. As critical as I was of the CDC government, I always said I wish them well. I hope they do better. We always provided recommendations and solutions. And we start to do that now. We start to provide recommendations and solutions to the challenges that face Liberia. Whether they use it or not, it's going to be up to them. But we should hope for the best for our country and for our people. And we should hope for the best tomorrow at the courts, because there's no reason why these lawmakers should not be let go on their own reconnaissance and then to come back and go through the judicial process and let the government prove their case. It shouldn't be circumstantial, and let them come and prove it, and then Liberians and the courts will judge.
Mr. Cummings, Liberians in and out of the country are wondering about your relationship with former President George Weah. Seeing the both of you now going to put hands together, move at the court tomorrow, it's a very big news. What is it like in terms of the relationship between you and former President George Weah?
Look, I believe that in a country like Liberia, particularly, we are a very small country, gentlemen. I'm sorry, no ladies on your panel, but we are a very small country, 5 million people, thereabouts. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So we're very connected, even though we create all of these differences and separations, etc. The point is, as leaders, we should know each other. And we should disagree based on policies, on philosophies, on behaviors, but it should not be personal. Just like I had a relationship, and I still do. I mean, I know the current president, President Boykai. We haven't spoken substantially since he became president, but that's okay. I mean, that's his choice. He's still our president. I knew him. I had a relationship with him. Similarly, with former President Weah. I know him, we have a relationship, and that's appropriate. We'll agree on some things, we'll disagree on other things. And that's also okay, by the way. So people shouldn't overread into it. I met the president last week. We had a good conversation. We had a meal together. We agree, we will keep meeting and talking, and that's how it should be. So again, let's not overthink it. And I just believe that as leaders, we should know each other and keep the doors of communication open, because sometimes our people get in the way. And it's good to have that direct contact with all the leaders of the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, for joining us tonight on the show. Is there anything that we didn't talk to you about you want to say to your supporters before we let you go?
No, we covered a broad array of issues, but focus on the current situation in the country. And again, I encourage all Liberians, including my supporters, but all Liberians, to peacefully show up tomorrow, to let the judiciary, to let the government know that we believe in the rule of law and we expect them to follow the rule of law. But thank you for the conversation, and I assume
Mr. Cummings, where exactly you guys going to be converging tomorrow? Where exactly you guys will be converging tomorrow? Is it at the court grounds or somewhere else before you get on the grounds of the court?
We're working on those logistics, but I believe we're converging on the court grounds. But we're working on those logistics now, so our teams are meeting to work that out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Cummings.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. There you listen. You're listening to Abu. Okay, there you listen to Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. We want to say thank you very much, gentlemen. Before we can join Musa is trying to get in what you guys make of what the political leader. Let me start with Wisdom. They play Wisdom.
I will be the last. I'm mistaking it with my microphone on. So tell me sorry now. I will be the last.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's listen to Khan. I think we should have the political leader of the CMC.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think that's
in time, just to allow him come in, we can let
so let me come in, and I think it was quite
famous "Enough is Enough" protest appears to be steaming up. While the president and his team appears to be relaxed and living in luxuries, some Liberians said that's exactly why they're coming out on July 17th, Thousands of Liberians are threatening to take to the streets of Monrovia, all dressed in white, shouting, "Enough is enough."
We are
They will
currently
not just be
relaying
protesting for the
programs
sake
from
of it.
Liberia
They are demanding real accountability from their leaders
under
and
the Palava
justice for
Hut on
Liberians.
all of our platforms.
At the center of the storm is a political crisis that's gripping the country. Lawmakers were fighting over who should be Speaker of the House. Accusations were flying, corruption multiplying, and the people left in desperation from rescue to excuse, and now it's you too. Yes, we did it too is the government new slogan. It's not just a political drama. This deadlock has brought government business to a halt. More hunger and increased prices, including the exchange rate, and the people are paying the price. Things are getting uglier. Enough is enough, they say. The suspicious fire at the parliament, private jets, and disregard for the rule of law must stop. Through all this chaos, ordinary Liberians are standing up. People like Titus Pakala, Councillor Isaac Jackson, journalist Alex Beelded, Mulba Morlu, and citizens from every corner of Monrovia and the world are speaking out. They're saying, respect the Constitution, follow due process, and stop using power for personal gain. Why does this matter? Because if the rule of law breaks down, none of us are safe. When leaders fight over power and forget the people, trust disappears, and so does hope. So they're asking you, what kind of Liberia do you want? One where justice is for sale, or one where everyone is equal before the law? The people are demanding answers, and they may not stop until they get them. President Boakai can continue to ignore them and fly his private jets or drive his Lexus, but July 17th will be their day to say, enough is enough. Keep following the International Media Room and across Africa for more update.
All right, so fellow Liberians, we are currently airing the program, on our platforms, and so we are currently airing the program on our platforms. You just listening to Mr. Cummings, and I think, fellow Liberians, this is a step in the right direction, right? It's a step in the right direction. And the reason why I think this is a step in the right direction is because gone are the days that these political leaders must sit and allow the people to go through the pain and not speaking out. You see, when you are a political leader, you control people, you command people, people believe in you, they gave you their lives, they can do everything to ensure that your agenda, which they also share and believe in, is actualized. So now is the time that we are expecting these political leaders to speak on behalf of the people. It is now the time, because you cannot sit and see Mr. Boyka and his gangster disrespecting the law and breaking down the fabric of our society, and you not talking. It almost like, take for an example, you are the next government in place. Every political leader, right? Or every political party is the next government. That's how it is. Every political party is the next government in waiting. Whether it is through collaboration, whether it is through, your effort of moving, whatever way, but you are the next government in waiting. So what you don't want to do is to sit and fold your arms and allow a particular government to destroy the fabric of our democracy. Because at the end of the day, if you lackadaisically sit down and allow such to happen, even when you are elected tomorrow, you will face similar challenges, because it means that you will have to now think about building the system all at fresh. That's what is going to be happening. And I think this collaboration is something that those of us who are associated with these political parties, that we must encourage. It is good. It is something that we must encourage. It is something that we must be able to ensure that, oh yes, we encourage our political leaders to do everything to make sure that at least they come together. And I think this is a dawning of a new day. You see, when you have a leader, right, a political leader who is sincere in bringing people together, void of their political, what we call, agenda or so. This is what happened. You see, that's what makes President Weah to be unique. Because his style of leadership is that, look, you can have your political party, I can have my political party, but when it comes to the Liberian people, let us work together. Now, we saw that during his presidency. When he became president, what did he do? He did not just leave the people of Liberia. He did not just leave political parties and say, look, we not take, we'll kick the other people around. So you see, it becomes easier for you to be able to bring other people on board because of the habit and the attitude that you exhibited while in government. You see that? You see how President Weah is changing the political dynamics of Liberia? You see what is happening? And this is something those of us who are partisans of these various political parties that we must understand and that we must know. Because to save Liberia from this particular helium called Joseph Numa Boyka, it needs a collective effort. It needs a collective effort. So the opposition political parties, they must work together. The opposition political parties must be able to work together. And working together will require that all of us as people, all of us as a nation, all of us as political leaders, we do everything to ensure that our leaders have a cohesion amongst them. We too have a part to play as partisans. We are not just to sit there, but we too have a part to play. And that part that we have to play is one, encourage our political leaders, especially in this opposition, those who believe in the agenda of the Liberian people, that we should talk to our opposition leaders to be able to work together collectively to ensure that this particular tyrant in Joseph Numa Boyka, this dictator in Joseph Numa Boyka, that he is checkmate. We have a part to play as partisans. We have a part to play as people. This is where we find ourselves. But let's listen to the team in Liberia, as I've given my own analysis. Let's listen to the team in Liberia as they too, share their thoughts and etc. on this. So let's listen to the team too.
Between 2018 to 2023.
That period.
When you see that happening, that is not a unity party. That's disunity. And you can.
That's what Kumi just said. Too many own goals have been scored.
And that's why we will always link the unity party to
the video goals.
We will link the unity party to President Johnson Sirleaf because what is happening right now is not unity party. It is this unity party.
Okay, as we await Musa, let's go to Senator Nathaniel Fallow Magio and have a word with him because we have lots of guests that we will need to talk to tonight.
He's the head of the CDC Legislative
he's the head of the CDC Legislative Caucus and someone that is making a lot of strive at the Liberian Senate for good governance and some other issues in the country. Senator Mangio, thank you for joining us tonight on the show.
It is on now.
Okay. So you want us to?
Let's with first, Senator Mangio.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being with you guys.
And I think the good thing is that all of the political parties are saying that they will be at the court. This is something that is encouraging. This is something that is encouraging. So we are also using this platform to encourage our people in Liberia and around the world. Call family members, call friends, so that we all can be at the court there. But let's go back to studio.
His devil is come already.
Okay, I'll be on standby.
Okay, Senator.
Where is Australia?
Yeah. You know, I like about Senator McGill. You know, he has.
Let's go to honorability.
He has what it takes. Okay, so let's now join Honorable Musa Hassan Beliti, who's going to address the country. Honorable, thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome to our conversation. Good evening, Honorable Beliti.
So we now have Musa Hassan Beliti in studio, the political leader of CMC, who is also going to be, deliberating.
Good evening.
No,
I think you need to unmute yourself. We are not getting you. Can you just say a word? We're not getting what he's saying.
Yeah, she was in the next.
Okay, Honorability, just go out and come back. Then we'll have you. Because we had Mr. Cummings, it was very clear. I don't know what's happening with.
Let him go out and come back in, Sekou.
Okay, yeah, sure. Because you see, we're hearing Musa. I mean, Musa. I keep calling Abu Musa.
That is it from Abu to Musa.
No, Musa used to, man. Maybe you know that.
So,
Are you hearing me now?
Okay.
Yes, we're hearing you. Okay. Honorability, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. How is the party and how are the people within your district in Nimba?
This weekend I'm not in Nimba. Actually in Monserrado. And we have this almost, I want to call national emergency, a threat against freedom. And so we have to be in town to make sure that we find a way to address it. So I'm in Monrovia right now.
Okay, we have a team of journalists here from different media institutions. We'll be asking you a few questions, and our conversation going to center around tomorrow's convergence. First of all, we want to know you at the House of Representatives, representing one of the districts in Nimba County, Liberia at large. What do you make of the governance in the country? People are saying that you people are the problems of our country, saying things the way they are. Go ahead, Musa. We'll just ask you a question.
Look, it's been coming. United Party has organized a systematic breakdown of governance in our country. They started it with the legislature, and they did not have any regard for any law, and they bullied the speaker out of office. They almost broke down our government. I mean, they broke it down. The legislature is gone. Absolutely. Nothing that is happening here right now will be brought before the chamber of any of the houses. That tells you where we are as a country. And the judiciary is hanging in there. With the going of the Chief Justice, we don't know what is going to happen. The president will have the chance to probably appoint 2 judges. Because if he picks a judge in the current bench, then it means he has to appoint a new one. We don't know where we're going. So we're not surprised. It was planned. It's being executed. My disappointment, as I've always said, is in the opposition. We raised this alarm ever since. Today, what we are doing now is what we should have done in the Capitol building. We should have, that's a political theater. We should have stood our ground. we should ensure that, the will of the Liberian people is not thwarted. Howbeit, where we are, the CMC position is very clear. We are not questioning the authority of the police to charge or to take anyone to court. We are questioning the manner in which it's being done. We are questioning the fact that after 5 months of investigation, you will call someone to come to you by 9, 10 o'clock, and you will say nothing to them, and at 5 o'clock you will say it's late, and then you will lock them up. That's abuse of power. Those people should have been sent to court on Friday, and they should have been given the chance to file in their bond. Because if you have a case against them, it's not in these technicalities. It's in the court where you will adduce evidence, and then they will go through the system. The other thing is, we're hearing that the government intends to increase the amount of money for the bond. They cannot do that in this case. I'm not a first-class lawyer, but I'm a primary school student in law, and I know that a bond is required in a case where your action could have benefited yourself. And in this case, when you burn a house, absolutely that doesn't financially benefit you. So if you are charged for burning a house, you cannot be given a bond that is unreasonable. The court should not do that. And we're going to protest that. We don't agree on that. So we're just pushing for the rule of law. This is not a call to say that the police cannot investigate. This is not a call to say that the police does not have the right to do it. This is a call to say the power that the law has given the police and the Ministry of Justice should not be abused. It should be properly used and the right of the individuals in consent. There are some other legalities that the lawyers will go through, including whether or not you can arrest a lawmaker while he's in session. That is for the lawyers to look at. Hopefully, we'll see what comes out.
Okay.
It's good to have you, Honorable Berete. This is Winston Blathen. Let me ask you the question, sir. From what happened at the Capitol building up to the burning, the arrest for your colleagues being barred, I remember as a legislative reporter interviewing you, you said you were never going to allow the rule of law to be thwarted. You were standing with the rule of law. But to summarize everything, the government of the day did not listen to you. I know how you feel. Your very good friend, Councilor Jonathan Fonati Kofa, currently being barred at the Morville Central Prison. You are a political leader of the CNC. What do you intend to do? We just left the line with one of our Benedict comments of the ANC. He has vowed to be in flesh tomorrow and blood at the Supreme Court of Liberia. What does the CMC intend to do, sir?
Yes, we intend to do the same thing. We intend to be at the court. We intend to be orderly. CMC is a law-abiding political party. We do not intend to cause any chaos. We do not intend to join in any fight with any law enforcement. We expect law enforcement to allow us the chance to be there and let the law take its course. We do not accept any further violation of our laws, and we hope that the government will see that. The right of the citizens to protest, those actions are there, and if we realize that they have violated those rights, we will exercise our right to protest.
So you want to ask them then? Okay. So you people going to be going out tomorrow. Your partisans are listening to you. each of the political parties in Liberia, they have their own way to communicate to their partisans. How can you communicate to your partisans tonight in terms of encouraging them to join the fray so that your party presence can be felt on tomorrow?
Oh, we've already done that. We passed through the party structure, and we've insisted that our partisans come out, but they must be peaceful. They must not be confrontational. They must be cognizant of the right of other people to move around, and they must be orderly. But we exercise our constitutional right to assemble.
Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ability, I asked Mr. Cummings the same question. You people are going to the court tomorrow, and you will be expecting a particular thing to bring back home your colleagues. And if you get there tomorrow and the court deny any of them of coming back, or maybe the bond that you mentioned, what exactly you political leaders would do about it?
So we are expecting fairness. We are expecting justice. We are expecting the court to exercise proper judicial order, and that if the court denies, there are procedures to follow. I mean, we will not, take the law in our hand, but our presence there is to show that we are not taking this lightly. We'll not ask our partisans to say if the judge says they cannot release them, and therefore they will jump on the street and start breaking things. What we're going to do is to make sure that you will see people on the street demonstrating if the government start to manipulate the system, if the government try to manipulate the court system, if the government try to go to the insurance companies and tell them not to issue bond, then we'll have no choice. We'll get on the street. But as long as the rule of law is respected, CMC will not, the judge saying tomorrow, first of all, we don't see any reason why these lawmakers who are currently representation of the people, who could be denied the opportunity to represent their people constitutionally. I don't see any reason why the judge will refuse that and release them on their personal recognizance. However, it is the prerogative of the judge, but if he does that, we take advantage of the law.
It says Saturday, you were coming, then you guys, please. On Saturday, we saw upon the arrival of former Representative Akaros Gray at the grounds of the court, he was being denied access to the courthouse itself. Why, if you political leaders tomorrow arrive and wanting to enter the courthouse and the police ask you people not to do it, will you political leaders allow it, or will you stay?
The police have no such rights. If the police is going to stop us from entering, it has to be a court order. That is that's a temple of justice. If the court orders that we stay away, we'll meet and deal with that separately. But the police cannot stop us from going there unless the court has ordered that we should not go there. The police does not have the right to stop us from going there. They cannot.
No, just a minute. The police, I can remember, without invitation, went into the chambers of the House of Representatives. You never invited them. There's a possibility you might be stopped tomorrow, Mr. Ability. Why, if you people are stopped, what will you people do?
We told the opposition then that they were sitting down and that what is happening now is going to happen. I'm happy that everybody has appreciated what we were saying, and that, we have to show strength, that you cannot just continue to abuse our rights. No, we will not accept that. Like I said, if you don't want us to go there, the court, go to the court and let the court order you to stop us. But the police cannot stop us from going there. No, that's not acceptable.
Mr. Bidity, your supporters across the country are listening to you. I put it to you that you are at the entry of the court, the grounds of the Temple of Justice. And one instruction is given to the police officers lineup that you are not entering here. You can do whatever you want to do. There is a precedented situation on this. The Supreme Court issue a ruling, declare your, a block member as the legitimate speaker. We still saw Representative Kuhn moving around at the time with the same security and all of the different stuff assigned to a speaker. There is a likelihood, like Winston said, that you're going to be stopped in that situation. What would the CMC leader do? Will you turn back, go to your car, go home? What are you going to do? The people are listening. They want to know exactly what you do.
We will stay there until they allow us in, and we'll consult with other political leaders. But we'll not just turn around just because the police tell us to turn around. But we'll not do that. We'll not fight them. We'll not force our way in. We recognize the authority of the police. But the police needs to recognize our right as citizens to move freely. So if the police tells me I can't go, I have access to the directors, I have access to the deputy, I will ask them, what order do you have that I shouldn't go in the court? And if they say they don't have order, they just feel like doing so, we will consult other political leaders will be there. You've heard them say tonight that they will be there, so other political leaders will be there. And then we'll do that.
Okay. Now, I mean, a follow-up to this, you mentioned that there is a possibility that the government will want to muzzle your colleagues through the insurance companies. We're also getting intelligence that this is likely. I mean, it is possible that your colleagues, including the former speaker, might not receive, a valid bond. No insurance company may want to give that to him. Will you sit, or better still, jump in your car and escort Honorable Sibo, Honorable DB, and Kofa to South Beach? What's going to be your next move? Then my colleagues come.
The law will appeal that decision, and because if we, these are lawmakers, as I was saying, they should be released on personal reconnaissance. They are officials of government. They are representatives of the people. They are legislators in session. They are protected by the Constitution. We don't even know whether or not they should even be arrested at this time because the legislature is in session. So we cannot allow their right to be violated.
Okay, honorability is a pleasure. I'm Coris Kanga from Truth FM. Tonight, I want to ask you this question. You normally write on your Facebook page as letter from Sackley PA. You speak about the rule of law always. What reform do you think is necessary to ensure that our judiciary system is not influenced by political pressure? Let me start on that point.
Well, the government, the executive is lawless. They have no respect for the rule of law. The president has been very clear from day one that he will not respect the rule of law. He will not regard the Constitution. So we're in trouble. So all we have to know is to work hard, the next election to make sure that this government does not return. And then put in a government that will ensure that we have so many laws on the book. It's about the will to implement. So for me, this government has shown that it is not fit to run the country. They are showing that they have no respect for rule of law. What can we do? We are not violent people. So we just wait for the next election and move them.
So quick to this one, you've been a long-time friend to Furati Kofa for a very long time. You know him very well. Straight to this one. Can you admit to Liberians tonight that charges against him are false and misleading? You think he's innocent?
The Furati I know will not do this. The Furati Kofa I know. But I always give the Lord the chance you know, let them prove. This is a criminal matter. The criminal law requires that to find someone guilty, you must prove them beyond reasonable doubt. There can be no iota of doubt that they did it. I've no evidence. I'm not seeing any evidence that show that he did it, but I've not seen all the evidence. Let me see what new evidence they have. I will not render judgment. That's what I say, that allow the people to go through the case. If he did it, I'm not a judge. I cannot be the one to say he didn't do it or he did it. If he did it, the law will take its course. And if they prove him guilty, if he exercised all of his right all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court prove him guilty, I would be the same person that said then he's guilty. There's nothing you can do.
Okay. You.
Okay. Yeah. Honorability, before Abu come in very quickly. You just told us that if the government continues to ignore the rule of law, refuse to live in accordance with what the rule of law will require, your only option will be to wait and remove them. If these people are unwilling to respect the Supreme Court's ruling, to have a legitimate speaker right given to him, if they're refusing, from what we are gathering, to allow the insurance companies to grant your colleagues bond, what guarantee do you have as a political leader of the CMC that when you go to the elections and you win, they will declare you the winner? What guarantee do you have?
Oh, you're right. We don't have any guarantee. That's why it is now that we have to stand up to make sure that when this thing happens, we stand up for it. We stand our ground to make sure that the law is not violated. You see them, every time we allow them, the opposition is guilty of what is happening today. The opposition sat there and allowed Fonatic Koba to be rooted out. Do you know that United Party has only 11 representatives in the House on United Party ticket? The Liberian people made a decision that say, United Party, you carry the presidency, but I will not give you the legislature. That is the decision of Liberian people. They have thwarted that. So as I see it, if United Party continues to vote it, I'm happy now that the opposition is seeing the existential threat of this regime, and now we are coming together. I'm happy that even though we're different parties, but we realize that this question you ask, it affects every one of us. So on that basis, we are uniting now on the basis of what we have in common. We'll unite, we'll stand up to this government. We'll demonstrate on the street, we'll march for our rights and for the respect to the rule of law. That is what the Constitution guarantees to us, and that's what we'll do.
Okay. Honorability, before we join Abu Sharif, your colleagues, Bianbar, the Morgan City Court, have bound them from leaving the country. What do you think is happening? What's running through your mind, sir?
The court has the right to do that. For me, like I told you, the things that the court has the right to do, I cannot question that. I think they call it me as a Republican, right?
Yeah.
So if the court has issued that, you can challenge it. You can challenge it through the court and go to the Supreme Court and challenge it. Or
even while they are being biased, the court can still issue that, sir? When they're in the possession of the government, at the highest prison of the land?
It doesn't make sense. The people are going out of their hair. I told you, they are drunk with power. These people, if the Liberian people allow this to happen, these people will run this country into chaos. How you have somebody, then say, I ban you from going? What? Does it make sense? I mean, they are just abusing power. I'm disappointed in Joseph Burger, but I'm not surprised. Look, what they have not done, they are muscle business people. Even me, they fought me. They took half of my business from me. because they want to silence me. So we have to stand up to this. The law must take its course. The over abuse of, why would you issue a new exit Republican on the man that you already have? Eh? Abuse of power. But you know, I don't blame them. We had a speaker. The very opposition is guilty of letting us hear. We should have been on the street to provide it, to prevent the speaker from going. Will not be there, will not be here today. But I guess, you know. So
Okay.
I think I gotta go now.
Yeah, no, just a minute. Abu wants to ask, then we can call it a day.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Benedict, and it's good to have you.
Thank you, Abu.
So, yeah, so I find you very, quite interesting to this conversation because if my memory serves me right, you are the leader of the Rule of Law Caucus. You have the opportunity as head of a legislative body committed to the rule of law. And I listened to you quite well on the show when you said that you were committed to doing all you can, that the rule of law is set and upheld. So fast forward, we said that there was an arrangement and there were new speakership elections that you contested, I believe, on the back of negotiations and discussions. To see what we are seeing today, that your colleagues and of course former Speaker of the House is being unduly incarcerated, right? Do you feel disappointed, or to put it this way, can you say now that you did not do much in your capacity as chairman of the Rule of Law Caucus to have prevented from where we are moving to what is now? And then, okay, that's my first question. My second question is beyond the political conversations we are having, the political actions that we are hearing, are you also putting together a team of lawyers to be able to deal with the legality by the time this thing moves to the court? Are we considering that as well? Because the regime have said no matter what happens, they see this as a justice process, a judicial process, and they will go ahead. So are you prepared, with a very crack team of lawyers to confront or deal with this matter, since you are convinced that Fonati and the others cannot do what they're alleging that?
So, Abu, you need to mute yourself because you're coming in so that Musa will answer. Okay, mute yourself. The noise is coming from the back.
Abu, let me say this to you. We already done that. We're putting the team of lawyers together, so the lawyers are handling this matter. That is already being done. On the issue of me, I did everything. You know, the party will never tell you they start with me to negotiate for anti-resignation. I dare them to show me any evidence thereof. At the end of the day, I've always said Fonati resignation was a personal issue if he wanted to resign. But I also said that as long as Fonati was speaker, there are two ways to remove him. One, he resigned, or the other, that they get the necessary number and go through the process to remove him. And also, when the election came, it was not just about victory. We knew that they had the majority. But the one thing we wanted to prove is that they did not have the number to remove Fonati over constitutionally. And the election results show that. 43 people can remove the speaker. And we kept telling Labrampo all the time for 7 months that these people, they don't have number, and that's why they kept going all around in circle. When they started going for UN seat in the General Assembly, that's when they started coming under pressure that they got to resolve this issue. But I never sat with them and negotiate with them. So I have no regrets. I have absolutely no regret.
Okay, Musa. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we let you go, speak to your partisans for tomorrow convergence.
Come tomorrow. Come Make sure you come in number. Let's prove to this lawless bunch that the country is not for them. One, be law-abiding, be respectful. Make sure that you respect all of the rules, the corridors they tell you to pass. Just make sure you follow the laws, but don't stay home. This is to protect our democracy, and we must come out to stand up for our people.
Thank you very much, Musa Hassan Bility, for joining us tonight. We wish you all the best. We're going to follow all of the activities tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. You listen to Honorable Musa Hassan Bility.
Famous "Enough is Enough" protest appears to be steaming up. While the president and his team appears to be relaxed and living in luxuries. Some Liberians said that's exactly why they're coming out on July 17th. Thousands of Liberians are threatening to take to the streets of Monrovia, all dressed in white, shouting, "Enough is enough." They will not just be protesting for the sake of it. They are demanding real accountability from their leaders and justice for Liberians. At the center of the storm is a political crisis that's gripping the country. Lawmakers were fighting over who should be Speaker of the House. Accusations were flying. Corruption multiplying, and the people left in desperation from rescue to excuse, and now it's you too. Yes, we did it too is the government news slogan. It's not just a political drama. This deadlock has brought government business to a halt. More hunger and increased prices, including the exchange rate, and the people are paying the price. Things are getting uglier. Enough is enough, they say. The suspicious fire at the parliament, private jets, and disregard for the rule of law must stop. Through all this chaos, ordinary Liberians are standing up. People like Titus Pakala, Councillor Isaac Jackson, journalist Alex Beelded, Moba Morlu, and citizens from every corner of Monrovia and the world are speaking out. They're saying, respect the Constitution, follow due process, and stop using power for personal gain. Why does this matter? Because if the rule of law breaks down, none of us are safe. When leaders fight over power and forget the people, trust disappears, and so does hope. So they're asking you, what kind of Liberia do you want? One where justice is for sale, or one where everyone is equal before the law? The people are demanding answers, and they may not stop until they get them. President Boakai can continue to ignore them and fly his private jets or drive his Lexus. But July 17th will be their day to say, enough is enough. Keep following the International Media Room and across Africa for more update.
Well, fellow Liberians, you listening to the Honorable Musa Hassan Bility. You know, every circumstance has a way of uniquely putting people in a particular position. Sometimes it takes certain position, it takes certain circumstances, it takes certain situation to make you fix yourself and think. Growing up in Liberia, you know, back in the early 90s or so, 1890, there used to be a program on, I think, ELWA, ELWA radio station. And that program is called Unshackled. I don't know how many of you are ever listening to that program on ELWA. I think it used to be, you know, back in the 80s, used to have that program called Unshackled. Now, that particular program narrates the true life story of people, how they were involved into things that were very, very, very odd, you know, that were damaging their lives. And later on, they formed, you know, the true word of God, and they changed and became, you know, people who were impacting their society. So I don't know how many of you actually had the opportunity to listen to that program called Unshackled. But I'm one person who really, really used to follow that program, you know, that Unshackled program. I used to follow that program. Very, very interesting program. Teaches you about how, you know, you can go down to rock bottom level, and your determination, your willingness, your readiness can bring you up back, and then you can go to the zenith of, you know, progress, respect, and etc. So in that program, there is one thing they will always say. You know, with the introduction, they will say unshackled. And then they will say some other things. They say there's a program that is intended to make you fix yourself and think. Fix yourself and think. So what I'm trying to say is that God has a way of bringing situation to uniquely transform our lives, our situation, and etc. You see, this nonsense that Mr. Boyka is engaged in has made people to understand that Boyka is not only after the poor people, but he also after the rich people. He is not only, one would say insensitive to the plight of the commoners, but also to the people who are, maybe one would say, comfortably seated, that he is also after them. Because for us, the poor people, Joseph Newman Boyka feels at any time he can walk over us. So the people who have it, the people who have those connections, he believed that he must subdue them and be the only man in the village, in the town, in the country, in the house. So this particular persecution of the CDC has now opened the eyes, of other political parties for them to realize that, hey, Boyka is not just after the CDC, Boyka is after the opposition. It's a good thing that these things are happening. It's good that I'm not excited that Mr. Boyka is disrespecting the rule of law. No, I'm not excited for that. I am not excited that Boyka is turning Liberia into a chaotic nation. I'm not happy for that. But let it be an eye opener to all of us. Let it be an eye opener to political leaders, to people who think that they are connected, that all of us, if care is not taken, we are victim of the situation. There is this story about these three cows, the story about the three cows. And I think I'm going to play it here. These other cows say, my man, me, I'm not the white cow. Me are the black cow. So anything happen to the way, I don't get problem with it. And they sat there. And they sat there. This particular, animal will come. Let me just play it for you. Let me play the story of the cow, right? So let me play you this.
Right here. And when you go out and your battery dies, and you go, oh, please borrow me a battery, please borrow me a battery.
I'm sorry, my people.
But the cows continued to
Fine. So
remain
let me bring
together
you this
and
story.
wouldn't separate from each other. The lion became impatient. It thought of a plan. It went towards the cows, greeted them, and said, "How are you, my friends? Are you fine? I have been busy lately, so could not come and visit you. Today..."
Just a minute. Let me. Okay. So let me see if I can bring you
3
this.
cows lived in a green and
Okay,
fresh
fine.
pasture
That's good.
near a
We are here.
forest. A white cow, a black cow, and a reddish-brown cow. The cows were kind to each other. They used to graze in the meadow together and sleep near each other. One day, a reddish-brown lion happened to take a stroll out of the forest onto the meadow. It was hungry and looking for a prey. On catching sight of the cows, it became glad, but couldn't attack them because they were together. So the lion sat behind a boulder and patiently waited till the cows would
Okay.
separate from each other. However,
So, fellow Liberians, I want to bring you this story, right? I'm going to play this story and I want you to listen to it very keenly, very carefully. So, what is happening in Liberia now is almost like the story of these three cows. Now, maybe the black cow will be the poor people. Maybe the brown cow will be at least those who, or the reddish cow will be those who politically maybe are connected. Maybe their uncle is a relative. They get some kind of small thing. They get some kind of small money, And then maybe the white cow will be those who are at the echelon of the political top, who do not agree with the political leader, Joseph Newman Boyka, who has made himself a god. So listening to this story is teaching us a lesson. And there's the reason why political institution needs to come together and ensure that this tyrant in person of Joseph Newman Boyka is checkmated. But let's listen to the story. Let's go ahead. Listening to this story.
The Three Cows. Once, 3 cows lived in a green and fresh pasture near a forest. A white cow, a black cow, and a reddish-brown cow. The cows were kind to each other. They used to graze in the meadow together and sleep near each other. One day, a reddish-brown lion happened to take a stroll out of the forest onto the meadow. It was hungry and looking for a prey. On catching sight of the cows, it became glad, but couldn't attack them because they were together. So the lion sat behind a boulder and patiently waited till the cows would separate from each other. However, the cows were too clever to separate from each other. They knew that if they were together, no predator could attack them. The lion lay in ambush nearby for 2 or 3 days, but the cows continued to remain together and wouldn't separate from each other. The lion became impatient. It thought of a plan. It went towards the cows, greeted them, and...
So you see what happened here? Well, listen to the story. But when they were together, the lion, with all of the strength, with all of the might and the bravery, could not actually confront them. You see, he could not confront them when they were together. So he had to devise a plan. So basically, when we are together as Liberians behind our political leader, the nonsense that Mr. Boyka is doing, he will not do it. But let's listen.
Said, "How are you, my friends? Are you fine? I have been busy lately, so could not come and visit you. Today I made up my mind to pay you a visit." The reddish-brown cow said, "Sir, your coming has really pleased us and brightened our pasture." Both the white and the black cows were troubled by what their friend, the reddish-brown cow, said, and were grieved at its thoughtlessness. They said to each other, "Why does the reddish-brown cow believe what the lion says? Doesn't it know that lions seek other animals only to prey on them?" As the days passed by, the reddish-brown cow became more and more attached to the lion. The black cow and the white cow advised it against a friendship with the lion, but their efforts were in vain. One day, the lion said to the reddish-brown cow, "You know that the color of our bodies is dark, and that the color of the body of the white cow is light. You also know that light color is the opposite of the dark color. It will be very good if I eat the white cow so that there will be no difference among us any longer, and we will be able to live together well." The reddish-brown cow accepted the lion's argument and started talking to the black cow to keep it busy so that the lion could eat the white cow. The white cow was left alone and was killed, while the black and the reddish-brown cows were busy in idle talk. 2 or 3 days passed since the lion devoured the white cow. It became hungry again. It called the reddish-brown cow. The cow answered, "Yes, sir." The lion said, "The color of my body and the color of your body are both reddish-brown, and black does not go with our color. It will be very good if I eat the black cow, so that in this forest we all will be of the same color." The reddish-brown cow accepted this argument and moved away from the black cow. The lion attacked and devoured the black cow soon. And as for the reddish-brown cow, it was so filled with joy that it didn't know what to do. It roamed and grazed and said to itself, "It is only me who has the color of the lion." A few days passed later. The lion was hungry again. It roared and said, "Oh, the reddish-brown cow, where are you?" The reddish-brown cow, shaking with fear, went forward and said, "Yes, sir." The lion said, "Today it is your turn. Get yourself ready. I am going to eat you." The reddish-brown cow, with great fear and horror, said, "Why, sir, I am your friend. I did whatever you asked me to do. Still, why do you want to eat me?" The lion roared and said, I have no friends. How is it possible that a lion makes friendship with a cow? No matter how much the reddish-brown cow begged and entreated, the lion didn't accept its words. Finally, the cow said, "Mr. Lion, please allow me to cry out 3 times before you eat me." The lion said, "Okay, quickly, quickly." The reddish-brown cow cried out, "I was eaten the very day the white cow was eaten. I was eaten the very day the black cow was eaten. I was eaten the very day I made friends with the lion." The lion devoured the reddish-brown cow very quickly. Then it said to itself, "I have finished my job in this forest. Now I had better go to other forests. Any group without unity will easily be destroyed."
You see there?
Learn from world-class Udemy instructors like Chris.
Excel as a magician's hat.
Our unity. So you see, the recklessness of Mr. Boyka has just ignited a sense of unity amongst political leaders. Amongst political leaders. The recklessness of Mr. Boyka, the disrespect of Mr. Boyka for the rule of law has ignited a form of unity among these political leaders. And this is something that we are thrilled by, we are encouraged by. And we hope that these political institutions or these political parties will be able to stay united, to stay strong, to stay better. Because from all indication and the way Mr. Boyka is proceeding, he is not proceeding like somebody who is willing and ready to respect the rule of law. No, that is not. But let's go back in studio as we listening to, what we have there. Let's go back in studio and then be able to listen here.
That them, let it happen to them. But it goes beyond
that is the VP,
us and them in a
former
situation.
VP,
And I saw a Karen
Howard Taylor,
by himself with his hands folded on his chest, seemingly as a lone soldier. What I pray for tomorrow is that the laws of our nation will take preeminence over everything that will be happening there, and that this is a bailable offense. I don't think those lawmakers that have been elected by their people will run away. I pray that they will be given a chance to perfect their bonds and that they will be released. And that when the process begins, when the court process begins, we will watch the case and make sure that the law will be the law. So this is a long,
there are a lot
long
of
process.
persons.
I don't think it will be a day. It will be. It's not an event. It's a whole process that we have to watch and pay attention to. So I will be following the process very, very, very closely myself to see and to ensure to add my voice to the voices of those who will be gathering, whether tomorrow or any other time. But the fact of the matter is, I'm praying that the laws of our country will be respected. The case is now out of the executive branch to the judiciary. They have their own responsibilities. They have their own laws. They have their own statutes. They have their own operations that they must do. And I pray that will go according to the laws of our country.
Now, requesting or hoping to see that the court tomorrow will do the needful is one thing, and the court itself doing the right thing is another thing. Why, if you political leaders going to the court tomorrow and not seeing those of the lawmakers being allowed to be signed for, or maybe bonds being issued towards them? What next will you political leaders do about it?
You know, as a law-abiding citizen, we have to take cue from Fonati's stand in this whole process, that he will follow the law to the letter. I think we will do our part, and we are hoping that the court will do its part. As an officer of the court, as a lawyer accredited to the Supreme Court Bar, I believe with all of my heart that the right things will be done tomorrow as per the law. And that is my hope.
Can you speak
so I
to
don't want to get into the fact of saying if it doesn't happen, what will we do? The fact of the matter is we expect that the judiciary will uphold the laws of our country to sanctify our peace, to sanctify our being. The very existence of all of us lie on the basis of justice and fairness and the rule of law. So I look forward to that playing out tomorrow as it should be.
Your supporters are listening to you across the country and the world at large. What have you to say to them in terms of encouraging them tomorrow to form part of this all-important peaceful gathering in support of lawmakers?
And I know there will be people listening that has grasped the attention of not just Liberia, but other people from across the nations of the world. Everybody will be watching. Everybody may not be able to show up at the Capitol building, but at the judiciary, but I want to tell you that everybody will be looking. And what we expect is that the rule of law will take preeminence over everyone. What I want to say is that that is our hope. That is our expectation. And we will follow the process. And I'm sure, God being our guide, that is what will happen tomorrow. If it doesn't happen, then we'll have to see what else can be done. But I'm hopeful that the judiciary, with the political tensions, with all of the things happening, will do what is right and what is just.
Do you trust the judiciary system under this current government?
But let's just look back to a few weeks ago when the whole country was in an uproar. Oh, the Supreme Court will not do the right thing. The Supreme Court did the right thing in December. And with all of the noise, they came back to clarify what they meant when they said ultra-virus. So I believe the court has its own burden upon its shoulders to maintain the peace and the sanctity of our country. And I don't think that will change tomorrow. I don't think so.
Okay.
Madam Vice President, you have your political party. You are the political leader of the NPP. How involved is the party going to be? I understand you already made the commitment to be there tomorrow. You said you will try to be there. Is the entire party, or better still, is the party mobilized for tomorrow's event? That's my first question.
Well, the messages have gone out across all social media handles. And we're looking forward to our people gathering to show solidarity.
So after the VP, in our studio here in the US under the Palava Hut, we are going to be taking in Honorable Mane George, who is going to also be speaking on this issue.
Let's see how the whole day goes. The fact of the matter is, when you step on the ability of stepping on the rights of many more persons, it's quite clear. And you know, we have to be careful, because there was a video now playing a few months ago that showed what happened during President Weah's tenure. He was very tolerant of opposition voices. There's a video that shows the current president showing up at a rally and saying Joshua should be removed from office. Security were never removed. He was never reprimanded.
Okay.
President Weah never said anything. You know, protesters happened before. Well, we're not concerned about it. What I'm concerned about is the fact that during President Weah's tenure, because they like to, you know, say, oh, it happened this way, President Weah, so we'll do it again. The current government came on to the scene with a mandate that they would do better, that they will follow the rule of law, and that they will not repeat the mistakes of the past. So people might be saying, oh, we are afraid to show up, or we don't want to do this. The fact of the matter is that this kind of a hearing draws the attention of everybody from across the world, and it will draw the attention of people from the opposition. So I think people should be allowed to go on the grounds of the court. Nobody is going there in violence. We are going to find out. We are going to show our support to make sure the right thing is done, and we hope the judiciary will do the right thing. But the fact of the matter is, even former vice president at the time, Joseph Boyka, was a part of a protest, and the videos are floating all around social media, calling for the removal of a sitting democratically elected president.
Okay.
Nobody harassed him. Nobody said anything. In fact, President Weah didn't even make a comment at the time. Former President Weah, who was President Weah at the time, never made any comment. We just allowed them to go and speak. So they should allow us the same kind of rights that we are exercising in a non-lethal, in a non-violent way.
Okay.
And I believe that is what will happen tomorrow.
Lastly, from my end, before I go to my colleagues, Madam Vice President, the government, according to what we are learning, is trying to muzzle the insurance companies not to grant, an insurance bond to each of the lawmakers under question. There is also another report coming up. We're yet to independently verify it, that all of you political leaders and your people might not be given access to the grounds of the court. You might be prevented from assembling. What are you going to be advising as a political leader in this, a temporary marriage to your other colleagues? What are you going to be advising to be the next step of the opposition community if the government would decide to be bent on not giving you the chance to assemble, not granting bond to those people who are already at the prison? What are you going to be advising?
Simple. The fact of the matter is, if they say the presence of opposition members of the opposition community cannot enter the grounds of the court, and that court is a place that is blind, because the reason why the eyes of justice are blind is that they will treat everybody under the rule of the law equally. There's a whole corridor. Liberia, moreover, is not just in the courts of the judiciary. The fact is that people will gather tomorrow. People will gather in different places. And I believe to show that we are concerned, the government needs to be tolerant of the voices of its people. It doesn't matter where the voices are coming from. The last time I made a simple statement that for 3 weeks, they will remove security officers. Nobody is afraid. We're not afraid because this is our country. And if we all want to live here in peace, then we should grant each other the rights that are due us. So if I drive up to the judiciary tomorrow in my vehicle in a non-violent way and say I would like to sit in the court hearings, I don't think they can deny me that. I don't think so. And we're looking forward to a day tomorrow in a non-violent way that we can gather and that we can watch the process and we can see our people released on bond, because this is a bailable offense. If you say the courts, the executive members of the executive branch are trying to muzzle the insurance companies, then the insurance companies need to close down. The fact of the matter is, this is a bailable offense, and people who apply for insurance to be out on bail should not be denied. Again, what's creeping into our society are things that happened in the past that cause us to go into all kinds of things. When you talk and they say, oh, she's calling for war. I'm not calling for war. I'm not a warmonger. What I'm calling for is a situation in our country that all of us will live in peace. We live in harmony. We live under the rule of law. Unity Party, from wherever they are, those who are muzzling people and trying to stop bonds, that this is not the Liberia we hope for. This is not the Liberia that they petitioned the Liberian people to give them 51% of the votes. That was not the Liberia they said they would have created. They said they would have created a better Liberia. They would rescue the country from the throes of whatever they thought they saw, and it will bring us out into a new day. You have to look at where we are today as a product of everything that has happened in our country. From the way we were founded, from the exclusion of large portions of our population from the mainstream for many years, to the point where leaders were killed on the beaches behind the barracks, to the place where, and before that, Tito and them were killed. There's been a whole slew of things happening that brought us to 1989, that created a situation that our country experienced so many years of war. This is our 22nd year of peace for coexistence since the crisis. And leaders have come on the scene and they have managed the situation. They've also taken cognizance of the fact that every decision that is taken affects the lives of 5.2 or 5.3 million people. And it's not just about Fonati Kofa. It's not just about Dixon Sibo. It's not just about the lawmaker from Grand Juliet. No, it's not about the lawmaker from Monserrado. It's about a basic constitutional right lawmaker, or whether you are a simple citizen living in Liberia that goes through the judicial process.
And quickly, this ongoing
situation is showing. And I hope, and I hope that tomorrow, what people are expecting doesn't happen. I hope the government will be made enough to allow that. And that is
what
it started. A sitting speaker was harassed illegally. He decided that he would resign for peace sake. Because everybody said, oh, leave it for peace sake, leave it for peace sake. He stood his ground, he made his point. That no longer will you just go and decide that as the executive, you don't want to work with the speaker. We should be working with everybody that gets elected. Because God puts people on board at different levels. You may not like me, but you have to respect my views, that the bonds will be provided and that those people is that this country belongs to all of us. If there are issues, the Constitution gives us the right to gather, to talk about it, so that we are thinking right them. Nobody was killed, nobody was imprisoned. That is the kind of government we like to see, that when people have an issue, that they can express their protest in a peaceful manner. And I hope that we gather tomorrow peacefully, wherever we'll be allowed to gather, and that we give a signal that we want the rule of law to be scrupulously implemented in this situation, and that our colleagues will be released based on a charge or charges that are bailable, and that they will be released to their families, and we look forward to the beginning of the process of the court, so that if they are guilty, and I don't think they are, they will go to jail. If they are guilty, if they are not guilty, they will be released to go back to their jobs and do what is needed to be done. So I look forward to a peaceful assembly.
Thank you so much. Madam Vice President, it's good to have you. My name is Winston Bladin from Banan. What really puts you that today something for your partisan, your supporters have all parties have adopted action assault.
Okay, so let's see if we can bring in Honorable Mane George. Let's see if we can bring him in to weigh in on this. Let's see if we can take him. Okay, let's see if we can take him on this. Just bear with us. Let's see if we can take him on this. Let's see if we can take him on this.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Honorable Mane George. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for calling me.
Yeah, we are grateful. I'm sure you are following the appearance of political leaders at the various political leaders that are appearing on air, that is on Voice of Liberia and that of other media institution. Are you following, sir?
Indeed, I'm following, just listening to the former vice president as he speaks now. And I've been following from Alexander Benedict Cummings onto Honorable Musa Hassan Billiton, now the former vice president, Madam Joy Howard Taylor, is also speaking right now.
All right.
I'm following.
So to just quickly go to the issue, what do you make of this? One would say, I don't know if I should say a collaboration or a collective statement, or I don't know how one would put it, but what do you make of all of this in the wake of, a major political party being muzzled by the current government, where, we see the major political party, chairman, the CDC chairman was being, abused, brutalized by the Liberian National Police, and later we saw a statement coming from 4 major political parties, and we are seeing them appearing, condemning what is happening. What do you make of it, sir?
Well, you see, like others who are part of the ruling establishment right now, they may think that what is unfolding in the country now is in their favor, and they are saying the rule of law in the country is being upheld by the Joseph Nima-Potter-led administration. But again, I will tell you emphatically that this unity party-led government is trending a dangerous path. You understand me? Like you stated earlier, we witnessed the brutalization of the major opposition political party chairperson who have done absolutely nothing. All right, who went somewhere peacefully. If you watch the video, you saw the chairman as they approach him. He had his hands up, meaning that I am for peace. Okay, I am for peace. I'm not here for trouble. But you saw them running after him, hitting on him, a man who have done absolutely nothing. So why are you hitting on him? And then you took him and put him in the back. You ruffle him.
Hello?
The pickup.
Yeah?
Ruffle him and put him in the back of a pickup and slam him in jail.
Sure.
I mean, what really the Unity Party government think they are, or what they want to prove? So again, I would say to myself and the seditious and to the chairman, next time if you go to a hostile area, trust me, take more than 100 men with you, because our area was a hostile terrain for you. Definitely, this guy who gave the instruction, in person of Nelson Fremont, this guy trying to prove something to Janga. It is the same Nelson Fremont who went onto our party headquarters and killed up our party scenes. But yet still, knowing who President Weah was and is, he kept him at his position at the Liberian National Police headquarters. He was still working. They did absolutely nothing to him. All right? And I believe President Weah too, he didn't do good at the time. He was to prosecute that man. He didn't do it. Okay? So that is why I'm following all of their statements today, calling on their partisan to assemble tomorrow at the Memorial City Court, which is in the right direction. All right? The multiple of partisans that we will see tomorrow, they don't dare say anything over there or do anything. Absolutely nothing. The police will behave. That's why I told my party chairman that if they have seen you with large crowd, they won't have tried, or else their tear gas are going to finish. Because they were going to fire tear gas, if possible, they were going to fire live bullets. And this is something that we don't want into our country because these countries are plunged into a civil crisis for almost 20 some years. We were into it. And we don't want to see our country going back to the dark days. And this is why the Unity Party government is fast approaching too. They are leading our country to a state where we will go back to where we coming from. And we don't want that. You understand me? You must lead. You promise the people that you came to rescue them. Rescue the people. But for every little thing, you tell you, we are did it before. We are did it before. There is something that we don't want to see. I listen to Honorable Musa Ability, all right? Calling on his parties to also assemble. And he was quizzed as to whether if the police stopped them from going to the court. He was very emphatic. He said the police don't have right to stop them from going to the court. Only the court can issue an order for anyone not to go there for the hearing, but not the police. The court can give them a directive, then they can act upon it. But they themselves take upon it, say they want to see documentation. And trust me, we are heading to a dangerous path under this Unity Party government. I'm being honest with you. The UP, like take for example, yesterday in Logan Town, you saw citizen. I don't know if you saw that video. Look, I'm a permanent and eminent citizen of Logan Town. You know how many calls I received yesterday from Logan Town? You know how many calls? I saw the people burning tires on the main street of the United Nations Drive there. Put tire on the main street. You put it on fire. I saw pictures. They said they're going to surround Amos warehouse. I called some of the men and I said, but why you are going to Amos warehouse for? This brother have not have to look at nothing for you to go surround your house. Why are you going to do that? Is he the one who put Abu Kamara in jail? No, he's not the one. So I don't support that idea of people going to vandalize another man's property or to go surround a man's house because his admiral or whosoever is put through behind bars. No, he's not the one. Why is true? We welcome court proceeding, we welcome the rule of law, but let them do it the right way. But brother, for example, you have 5 persons, you release one. You say the person is sick, you release one to the lawyer. What is that? Is it because the person from the Unity Party government? That is absolutely wrong. All right, you have Abu Bakr Kamara, who is a pressure patient and a blood sugar patient. All right, and that's brother too. You saw the people, Fonati's wife, taking the blood pressure instrument to go and test his pressure. Why couldn't you then release the man to the lawyer for him to go seek medical attention?
Sure.
But you kept it in jail because you're sedition. So is this how we're going to run the country? But so the political leaders that are speaking today, I like the collaborative effort. I like the way they are coming together. Okay. You know, and they all are saying they're going down there tomorrow and they are calling on their parties to come. Sure. So it's going to be conglomerations of political partisans that will appear tomorrow over there. So let us see now if this regime has the capacity and the manpower through the security forces to do what they did yesterday. Let us see. Because if all of their partisans assemble over the enemies one stretch, trust me, we're going back to the dark days. Because they will not lie. The partisans will lie. You will have to disgruntle and radical partisans. I don't care how George we are, Honorable Musa Hassan Benete, Honorable Joe Howard Taylor, Honorable Alexander Kumi, because Kumi spoke emphatically, he said they are going there for peace. He will not be a part of anything that will be violent. He said it. I listened to him. But he calling on his partisans to go there. The police cannot stop them. And the police don't have the authority to test any partisan that will be law abiding. So you see, if you listen to them, you are listening to them. So if one partisan is touched, you will have some disgruntled ones, some radical ones that will take the radical approach. Because they will definitely go at the police. You see, students will start to be thrown all over the place, and tear gas will start to fire. At the end of the day, live bullet will come about. So I'm asking the police, the Unity Party-led government, to exercise maximum restraint tomorrow as the opposition go in solidarity, you know, with their leaders, especially the former speaker. You look at a former sitting speaker. just because you want to prove a point, you want to jail him. You call him on a Friday. The man appeared to your place 9 o'clock in the morning. You didn't call the kids. You didn't ask him no question until 5 p.m. At which time you know all government functionaries will be closed. And you slam him in jail. The leader or certain representative, former speaker, you did that to him. When you talk, they will attribute it to Donald Trump case. Have you seen in America people running after other people, witch hunting people? No. The law is the law, we agree. But do it the right way. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Do it the right way. That's what we're saying. That's why I'm following them. And myself, I'm going to use this medium to call on all opposition political party and their partisans to join their political. If I was in Labrador today, I would have led men and women from local town who are going to walk straight to that Memorial City Code. I would have led that effort. You understand me? So I'm using this medium to call on all opposition political partisans to join their political leaders tomorrow and move to the Memorial City Code and protect your partisan and your political leaders that will be there. Because look, if you don't go, just sit down like someone else, oh, we are getting talk. We are getting talk. All the things happening, we are not talking. We have just at the prison compound today. And we are about to talk now. And we will be going to the Memorial City Memorial City Court tomorrow. It's left with you now, the partisan who will be talking, say, we are going to talk. Go there with him tomorrow to protect him. And look, there's never going down there tomorrow to cause problem. We can't encourage our partisan to cause problem. They're going there to protect their political leader. And they're going there in solidarity with their party leaders that was arbitrarily slammed into prison. This is what they are going there for. But anything on the contrary for the police, we too will support our partisan to go amok. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Manning George, for the time. We're hoping that maybe, hopefully, this week, somewhere around, we can have you coming on live so you can be able to, dive deeper into this issue. But thank you so much for taking off. Thank you.
It's always my pleasure. Thank you too.
All right. So, fellow Liberian, there we have it. There we have it. Let's go back in studio. I know we should have the political leader. Let's see. All right. So, fellow Liberians, time have caught up with us. We gotta go and do what we gotta do. Gotta do our own hustle, but time have caught up with us. But I want to say thanks to each and every one of you. It's something that we are really excited of. Seeing the coming together of political actors in our country. Just under the period of less than 2 years. This is scary. This is scary. But again, we are grateful that these people are seeing the danger. Because when we said it yesterday, that Mr. Boyka is a danger to our democracy. That Mr. Boyka, this man, is almost like a parasite that is very invasive, that will destroy our democracy. People did not believe it. They felt that we're just talking. But now, these political leaders are now seeing it, and we are glad. We want to say thanks to each and every one of you. On this note, my people, I want to say thanks to all of you that have been following us, my own big sister, Claudia Allison. I want to say thanks to Dr. Elizabeth M. Gay Kamara. I want to say thanks to Melvin. Thank you so much for joining us. Emmanuel, bro, thank you so much for being there on the YouTube channel. Cisco Swain, you are highly welcome. Fahar Ahmad, thank you so much. I want to say thanks to all of you. All of you, I mean, Otaka Kahon, thank you so much. Derek P. Jala, we appreciate you. Fatou Sharif, thank you so much. Alor Meko, we appreciate you. Thank you for your presence. Salia Lansana Kane, we want to say thank you. I mean, all of you that are following us from across the globe, we want to say thank you. Time have caught up with us, and we got to leave. We got to go and do what we got to do. We got to go. Yeah, Sunday, oh, we can work. So that's it. But we want to say thanks to each and every one of you. Join us tomorrow during the afternoon hour for more of this. But again, there's going to be a very important meeting today that is called by the interim chairman of, CDC USA, the interim chair in persons of Yahya Sharif. There's going to be a very important meeting, and we are asking or seditions to join that identical meeting. So until we meet again, thank you so much. Have yourself a God bless day and bye from our end.